Good morning. It's day 7 and I've had some good news and some bad news. Not super bad, so don't get too worried. The good news, the great news is that my pilgrim friends Nikki and Vivi showed up at the same accommodation last night. And we had a very nice time in the evening chatting. We got a tour of the culture center, which was just fascinating. And the bad news is they're not moving on. They're going back to Oslo. They have done sections of this, and now they're taking a train back to Oslo. So I'm not going to be able to see them any longer, but it was nice for the couple of days that we did have together. The other news is that I do not trust my navigation system. I thought this was going to be a hugely long day, 15.8 miles. And it turns out it's 5 miles. So, in the beginning, when I was looking at the overall map, and once I stop at a picnic table or someplace, I'll show you the overall map. But when I looked at the overall map and read about this trail, it said that it can be done in 32 days. And I'm taking 38 days, and granted, a couple of those days are rest days, but still 36 versus 32. I didn't know what really accounted for the difference. Well, probably because there are a number of days here, like yesterday and today, where it's just 5 miles. So that's great. I will consider these kind of semi-rest days, and I'm perfectly okay with that. So today I'm not going to talk as much. Hopefully this won't be a 14-minute videotape, but I do want to show you the route, and I'll show you the map as well once I stop for a break. I just had a little turn off from this path, and what do I see at the top but a strategically placed picnic table? Yay! And it has a way marker on it, which means pilgrims must stop here and take a break. Yes, I will. Back on with the scarf. Even though the sun is shining, it is a little cool today, so it's kind of nice to have something soft around your neck. But a nice little place for a break. I've got my brown cheese, crackers, I've got some peanuts, a trail mix that look like they've kind of been through the war, but I need to eat them up, and my water. And I want to answer a question that came up yesterday on one of the platforms. I think it was YouTube or TikTok. And that was, someone asked me what I spend my time listening to or what I'm thinking about along the way. Do I listen to audiobooks and that sort of thing? I don't listen to audiobooks. I thought I might because in my training sessions, I've been listening to audiobooks and it really helps. But here, for some reason, for one thing, I'm listening to the instructions from the navigation system, getting very familiar with that woman's voice. But I also just like to listen to what's going on around me. And what I think about, originally I thought, I will use this time to think about where am I going in the next 25 years of my life? What do I want to be doing, and how do I want to be exiting this world? And, all of those things, not to be morbid or anything, but just, what am I going to be spending my time on in those years? And also my business. I thought, I don't think my business will look the same. I'm an AI educator, and I don't think it will look the same next year. But for some reason, so I thought I would spend some time chatting with Claude and, strategizing and all of that. But for some reason, that just is not appealing to me right now. And so I haven't done any. In fact, I'm even deleting all the AI newsletters that come into my email each morning. And it is just not something that appeals to me. I'd much rather be in the moment and looking at the trees and eating my minimal snacks and that sort of thing. So that's what I'm doing. I try to also look to my side rather than always looking down. I need to stay focused on the path, because the worst thing would be, stumbling on a rock and twisting your ankle or something like that. So I want to concentrate on the path, but I also want to look to the sides and see and also look behind me. I stop quite regularly, going up hills especially, and just take in all that's there. So that's what I do along the path. I am not bored in the least. I enjoy my own company, but I also like to chat with the people that I run across. I want to show you the map so that you can get a perspective on all of the different routes. And if you're watching this in a replay on the Pilgrim site on Facebook, you know all of this. So this is mostly for my friends and family back home. So here's the map. It is not the entire map of Norway. Norway in its entirety goes all the way over to that tree. So, Norway is a huge, long country. I just realized my video cut out, so I'm going to have to do this after the fact. But you can see there are many different routes. I believe there are 8 different routes that all end up in Trondheim, which is right here. Okay, and so me and my backpack, starting right here in Oslo. There is an eastern or a western route and an eastern route. I'm taking the eastern route, and it's referring to going around the lake, which is, I now know the name is Mjøsa, and so they will meet in Lillehammer up here. So I started in Oslo. You know that it took me about 3 days to get up to the airport. This is Eidsvoll, which is where the greenhouse was. And then today I am right about in here, and I'll spend the next 2 days getting up to Hamar, where there is a pilgrim center, and I'm looking forward to checking out that pilgrim center. So that's, as I zoom back, that's where we are compared to all the way up to Trondheim. So I've gone this little bit, or this little bit along here, and I've got all the way up to there to go. Hi. Well, my navigation says I'm close to my destination. I definitely could have tacked on going to tomorrow's destination, but who knows? There must be a reason. Maybe there was an accident to avoid, or a lesson to learn, or an experience to be enjoyed. I'm going to go with that. I think I am here, and I will give you a peek into my accommodation. here to greet me is Gaia, and this is Gordammen, a greenhouse. I'm not sleeping in the greenhouse. I'm sleeping here in the cabin. It's a rather rustic cabin, complete with its own picnic table and electricity that sometimes works. But this is a cute little bed. There's no one else here tonight reserved, and I'm sure this will be satisfactory.